Some stories are loud. Others whisper in silence. But the ones that stay with you are the ones that feel like your own. This is Tales from the Street, where truth meets reality, and every story is a mirror. His real name was Chuka. But everyone called him Odogwu. Not because he was the strongest. Not because he was the smartest. But because, in a world where money speaks louder than character, he was the one with the loudest wallet. He didn't always have it. In fact, there was a time he slept on a torn mattress in a one-room face me I face you in Edgeganal. A time when his only dream was to eat twice a day and survive the Lagos madness. His mother used to say, "My son, never beg to be a man. Become one." She died before he became anything. Chuka was 19 when she passed. No father. No siblings. No inheritance. Just pain and an anger that burned like firewood under a black pot. That was the first time he told himself, "This world will know my name." At 21, he was deep in the hustle. He started with selling phones on Computer Village streets. Staying up late to learn about crypto, forex, betting, anything that promised fast money. He watched his peers do fraud. He refused. For a while. Until one night, he sat alone, stomach empty, watching a guy he introduced to the game drive past him in a Benz. Laughing with girls that used to ignore them both. That was the first shift. He didn't want to chop life. He wanted to conquer it. And that was how it began, the Odogwu era. By 25, Chuka was unrecognizable. The street boy from Edgeganal now lived in a serviced apartment in Lekki Phase 1. Beard always trimmed. Shoes imported. His Instagram was a highlight reel of beach houses, club nights, and champagne showers. His calls were always on speaker. His answers always sharp. "Send your account. Meet me at W Bar. Tell them I said you should enter." He was loud. He was feared. He was envied. But he was never truly seen. There's a strange silence that comes after noise. And Odogwu was starting to feel it. He began to notice things. The way his guys only showed up when there was money to spend. The way the woman he entertained never asked how he was, only what he could give. He laughed a lot in public. But cried once, in private. It was the night he saw an old video of his mother singing a church hymn. Her voice cracked, off-key, real. He paused it halfway. Too painful to finish. He looked around his luxury apartment, imported couch, art piece on the wall, designer sneakers lined like soldiers. And he felt something. Emptiness. Her name was Adora. She was the girl who stood by him when he had nothing but dreams. She used to write motivational quotes on sticky notes and place them inside his books. "Don't forget why you started. You are enough, even when the world says you're not." But Odogwu forgot her. The moment his first 6-0 alert landed, he ghosted her. Too low class. Too local. Too real. Now she was just a contact he couldn't call again. Not because she wouldn't answer. But because he didn't know what to say. It was getting harder to sleep. The Benz was parked. The house was quiet. The city outside buzzed with life. But inside his mind, chaos. You see, Chuka had gained the world. But peace. That was one luxury he couldn't buy. He had the power, the praise, the position. But every man has a breaking point. And Chuka was getting close to his. Some rises are so loud, you forget there's always a fall. And sometimes, the fall isn't from grace, it's from within. They say a man doesn't truly fall when he loses money. He falls when he loses himself. And by 28, Odogwu, real name Chuka, was a man surrounded by everything but drowning in nothing. He had power. He had fame. But peace. Peace had left him quietly, like a thief in the night. It started with small things. A missed call from an unknown number that triggered anxiety. A friend's laughter that suddenly felt like mockery. A woman in his bed who couldn't remember his real name. He began to distrust everyone. And then, himself. One night, while scrolling through his DMs, a message popped up from a familiar name. Karma doesn't forget, Odogwu. Hope you're sleeping well. It was from Tope, his old business partner. The same man he outsmarted 3 years ago. The one who invested in the crypto hustle, and got nothing back when the millions came in. Chuka had told himself it was just business. But now, that business was knocking at his conscience. His trusted guy, Remy, was like a brother. They came up together from the same streets. Shared secrets. Shared risks. Shared loyalty, until there was too much money on the table. One day, Chuka returned from a trip to find his offshore wallet drained. $45,000. Gone. Remy. Gone too. No calls. No messages. Just silence. And it wasn't the money that hurt the most. It was the trust that broke. From that day, Chuka changed. He stopped going out. He turned down invites. He kept his phones on airplane mode more often. At night, he'd sit on his balcony, staring at the Lagos skyline. Big man. Big dreams. Big silence. Sometimes, he'd whisper to himself. What did I do all this for? No answer came. Just the humming of generators, and his own breathing. One afternoon, on impulse, he drove to the old compound where he grew up in Ejigano. The place was smaller than he remembered. Dusty. Noisy. Real. Kids played football with a plastic bottle. A woman fried akra by the gutter. Life was hard. But somehow, honest. He asked around for Adeora. They said she had moved years ago. Got married. Now runs a school in Ibadan. She was doing well. He smiled. For the first time in a long time. And then, he cried. Not because he missed her. But because he knew he would never be the man she once believed in. That night, he wrote a letter. Not to anyone else. To himself. Dear Chuka, you chased power. You gained wealth. You lost peace. But you're still breathing. Maybe, that's your second chance. He didn't send it. Just folded it and placed it in the Bible his mother left behind. For the first time in years, he slept without music, without alcohol, without company. Just sleep. Real sleep. Sometimes, the loudest journeys end in silence. Not every Odogwu finds peace. But every man has a choice, to keep chasing shadows, or to finally face the light. This was Odogwu Without Peace, only on Tales from the Street. Until next time, stay real, stay human.